I'm longer now.
Babe, this a rare Barbie. This my geopolitical tea. Let's go. Ah, I didn't even do it today. Ah! I ran this thing on Claude yesterday, and I basically said the same thing every single day for 150 streams, which is that we have a lot to talk about today. I've said it every day for 150 fucking streams. Guys, I think we're just edging. I don't know if edging's the right word to use, but we're basically just waiting at stalemate until what happens on market close on Friday. The market isn't real until it's closed on Friday, straight up. Like, nothing is real until that happens. We sort of have a main topic of the stream that it's hard to let it be anything else because, yeah, I mean, we're in the middle of war and it's just not stopping. Is anyone surprised that Israeli News Network 12 announcing a ceasefire is not true? Shocker, right? That's a big one, huh? I mean, somebody lost money on that at this point. Don't even really know what to say. I have a bunch of things I want to talk about today. I have a couple like rants that I want to get into at the beginning. First and foremost, you get paid for understanding things better than other people. This has nothing to do with what I'm about to say, but it's Flood, and Flood makes me think of Hyperliquid. I am fully convinced at this point that if there is another mass onboarding event on chain, it's perps. It is going to be perpetual futures on the number one venue to trade all assets with one unified balance, the House of Finance, Hyperliquid. I remember using every single product that's basically ever come out in crypto ever. Every time I made money, every time I lost money. I remember everything I've ever done with crypto, and there has just never, like, from an onboarding perspective and from a new game perspective, Hyperliquid perps is just unreal. I'm sorry, it's unreal. In the last 2 months, I've longed Bitcoin, closed it, longed Tesla on the SpaceX IPO, closed it, longed Palantir because we were going to war, closed it, longed Bitcoin, closed the Bitcoin long, longed crude oil, realized crude oil sucks because they can export ban, closed it, longed Brent oil, closed it because the US government is manipulating the order books, and then longed Tau because Jason Calacanis is shilling it. It is just so good. It wasn't long ago, if you wanted to trade Tau, your bottleneck to trading Tau was, I don't have money on blank chain. My money's on Base. I got to get my money onto ETH mainnet. I got to get my money onto Solana. I got to get my money onto this other platform. There is an argument to be made that, wow, maybe everything in crypto was just a vehicle to tokenize TradFi assets, and maybe that's true. But man, even if that is true, at least you got a beautiful trading experience out of it. This was a mobile app that was pretty, like, we're not that far away from there being like many millions of users on trading perps. It's just a better vehicle. Usually I say we'll get to the important stuff in a minute, but this is actually the most important part of the whole stream. I got my tax numbers back, and I know I said this before, but it didn't really like hit me at first when I got my taxes number, because you ever like been told something so bad that you just crack humor about it? Like I told Malcolm how bad it was, and he was more upset than I was. I was just trolling. I'm like flexing it, like how this is how much I owe in taxes. I'm flexing how much I owe in taxes. I'm telling people, like, it was funny and cute, and I got some good like flirt jokes off with it for sure. I got a couple like pickup lines with it, but it kind of like really hit me like, okay, yo, I actually owe this much money in taxes. I'm genuinely at a loss for words on the taxes dilemma, because I owe 54% of everything that I've made. That's my tax bracket. And so it's more than half. And so if you don't do math, that means 46% of what you made you keep. I'll just be real. I definitely haven't lived my last year as if I only am retaining 46% of everything I've made. Am I like wrong to say that? Like, I definitely haven't been moving as if I only have 46% of my P&L for the last, I mean, is that like fair to say, call that out? Like, definitely like, do we really need that bottle of Dawn? Probably not. Or like, did I really need to like buy that fourth bracelet from Yerman? Like, probably not. And so what I've learned, and I want to make something very clear, and this is going to be a good clip, so clip this and clip it well. I'm going to tweet this. Did I really have to promise that Aruba vacation? Like, no, San Diego probably would have worked just fine. It was 2 hours away. We could get there by car. Did we really have to go to Aruba? No, we could have just gone to like Orange County, and it would have been, if we went to Orange County, I would have hated her just as much as I did in the Bahamas. I would have been just as miserable in Orange County as I was in in Turks. I would have been equally miserable. We would have fought the same amount. It wouldn't have been worse. I don't know about y'all, what your goals are, but I'm trying to get fucking rich. I told you guys that I'm not going to get off the stream until I have at least like, I don't know, 10 M's. I don't know what y'all are like here to do, but I want to get rich. I want to get smart. And I was really doing the math on how much money you need to make in a world where you owe 54% to the government. And then I started doing the math on if you don't get it from investing, like angel investing, JCal Uber, and you don't sell a company, and you don't be employee number like 4, move to a city that doesn't hate you, first time chatter, and you don't like get equity in some company that like goes public, and you do it as a full-time trader. And what I deducted is that if you are a full-time trader, and I mean your primary income is trading, and you live in New York City or you live in the great state of California, you are either the fucking GOAT, a complete LARP, or some combination of both, and you're not paying taxes. Straight up. Okay? And I get the Puerto Rico thing now. I get it. I get the Puerto Rico thing now. This taxes thing is like a real thorn in my side. It really does blow. Like, I hate to be here and complain it, but I'm totally in the camp of just make more money. This is my stance. You gotta just make more money. The lifestyle's worth it. New York's worth it. You gotta just make more money. And so we're gonna have to get smart with some tax stuff. We're gonna do a tax stream on Friday. I'm sorry. We're gonna do a tax stream on Friday. We just are. Every year I crush about taxes and everyone does this. Oh, don't you have an LLC? Oh, don't you have a wealth manager? What about an LLC? Dude, get an LLC. There's no fucking LLC that's going to save you from 54% capital gains. Okay? There's no LLC that's going to save you from that. There's no method. There's no write-off. There's no trust fund. There's no Cayman Islands, offshore wealth account, nothing. There's no trust this, nothing. Capital gains are capital fucking gains. And the most people that are telling you that you can loop capital gains don't have any capital gains. Okay? And as somebody with capital gains, I can tell you that there's no method. There's absolutely no method. And so we're going to do a tax stream on Friday because it's important. I got to fucking pay him. We'll rant about this later, but it's my favorite tweet of the day. I added it. There's fuck you money, but then there's fuck you skills. You can be so skilled that you actually don't have to care about what people think. You'll be fine no matter what. Chat, we are building fuck you skills. That's what I want to build. Fuck you money is sick. Fuck you assets are really cool, but we're building fuck you skills. If you really think about this, being able to trade, think about this for a second. One more rant. Think about this for a second. Being able to trade is actually the ultimate fuck you skill. Because if you could trade and trade well, it took me a while to realize this. I was interested in trading before I decided I wanted to get good at trading. If you can trade, you actually can say and do whatever you want, and you never have to be employable, ever. At the very least, it's like the goated backup. Because in theory, if you could trade, and I mean, if you can really trade, you don't ever have to answer to anybody, ever. You can believe what you want to believe. You can think what you want to think. You can say what you want to say. You can do what you want to do. And you're not responsible for any brand image, any perceptions. Obviously, easier said than done. In theory, chat, in theory, is that even in a world where the market goes to shit, if you can trade, you can still trade that. The thing about trading is it's in these skills. Probably the best 2 skills ever is like being an electrician or like a welder and knowing how to trade. Those are the 2. Being really good at meme scope and being a plumber are the 2 most goated skills of all time because you're forever needed. And so, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Anyone ever read Reminiscence of a Stock Operator? Be honest, you ever read it? Fantastic book. I just realized I'm just obsessed with like ball knowledge. I just like lore. I want to hear about people trading. It's like so awesome. The craziest thing about Reminiscence of a Stock Operator is that it's the same market. It's the same market. Nothing changed. Jesse Livermore was trading markets in like 1907 that act the exact same way as what we're trading right now. And half the book is about governments manipulating the market, price action being fake, nothing being real, manipulation this, manipulation that. The word manipulation and tips is written in that book like 500 times. It's the same fucking game. Like you would imagine it looks different when there was pink slips, then when there was hand signals, then when there was websites. then when there was Robinhood, then when there was fucking IKBR, any of these. Bro, he was multi-walleting. Yes, they had multi-wallets. 1909 when he was pumping Pacific Steel Co. They were multi-walleting. It doesn't change. If you can trade, you could spawn. You could throw me in any era and I have value. You could throw me in, I've spoken about this many times, you could throw me in the woolly mammoth era and I'm not going to be killing saber-toothed tigers, but I'm bartering salt for meat, bro. You could throw me any era that we've ever lived through and I'm on that boat 1492 Columbus sailed the ocean blue and I'm chopping up deals in the bottom decks. You could throw me in the barter era at any era ever and they're trading, bro. The economy used to be a barter economy. One of the things I want to do a stream on with the personal finance, I actually think this is a sick topic, on what do you do when you make 100K for the first time? Nobody talks about this. What do you do when you bank 100K on a trade for the first time? Or you bank 10K on a trade for the first time? What do you actually do with it? I'm going to be honest. I have made, like, okay, I don't want to like dox my wallets and P&L, but dude, I've made 100K on a trade like a lot of times, honestly. I've made 100K on a trade a lot of times, and every single time I just size heavier into the next trade. Like the first time I made 100K on a trade, I sold it. We went to, it's actually exactly what happened. The first time I made 100K on a trade, we went to David Yurman, then the club, and then I sized 5 times heavier than I should on my next trade. Like, just like slid the leverage up on the next trade is like exactly what I did the first time I made 100K in a trade. It was sick. It was fun. Malcolm was there. We all went to Yurman. I got a fucking, I don't know, spent like 3K on a fucking necklace I never wear. Could have been worse. And you just size heavier on the next trade. We actually never really talk about what you do with it. Because, like, if you turn 10K to 100, your next trade should not be with, like, 75K. Or if you turn $100 into 1,000, your next trade should not be with $800. Like, this is actually where we get lost in the sauce. So, basically where we're at, we're going to spend as little time as possible on the war today. I don't know about as possible, but whatever. There was an announcement that came out yesterday from Israeli News Network 12. And they're like, there's a ceasefire and here are the terms. And it's like 15-step plan. And it's like, Iran will never have nukes. Iran will open the strait. Iran will never close the strait again. Iran will never have nukes. Iran will never build a nuclear power plant. Iran will surrender all their nuclear capabilities. Iran will say sorry. Iran will apologize. Iran will never do anything mean to us again. Iran will pay us sanctions. And Iran has agreed to the terms. And it was like, what? What are you talking about? What is this Israeli news network? No Trump, no Hegseth, nothing. It was fucking sus. Oil dumps on it, of course, because that's just like how oil is trades. Doesn't care. And it was kind of obviously fake. And so this came out today. Iran has officially rejected the U.S. peace proposal and sets 5 conditions to end the war. Iran's condition includes immediate end to attacks and assassinations on Iran. Decent starting point, I would say. Establishment of concrete guarantees against future U.S. attacks. Clear determination and guaranteed payment for war damages. By the way, I'm not going to say this is what I predicted, but I'm just saying we went over what could happen from here. I said that I added this, reparations. International recognition of Iran's authority over the Strait of Hormuz. An end to the war across all fronts, including for all Iranian proxies in the region. The one thing I don't understand, by the way, is still to this day, is what the fuck is Saudi Arabia doing, bro? I still don't get it. Really, I really don't get it. Why is this Iran's Strait of Hormuz? What about everybody else? You got to get in and out. Pakistan, Oman, UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia. What is everybody else doing? It's crazy. I don't know. But every time I read this update, I look at the map and I'm like, how is that a thing? Why does it work like that? And so Saudi Arabia has water on the other side of their country they use, or no? I have no idea. Oh, well, I've never seen this view before. The Red Sea. Nice one, Viblet. Word. The Red Sea. Cool. I thought you couldn't own water. Well, here's where we're at. So Iran says no negotiations will take place until their 5 conditions are met. Iran also says it will end the war at a time of its own choosing and only if the conditions it has set are fulfilled. Which obviously the U.S. is not going to be like, we're fulfilling these. And so Iran said it has reviewed the U.S. peace plan proposal and it considers the ask to be excessive. Iran also says it will not allow President Trump to dictate the timing of the end of the war. By the way, when this thing started, it was proposed as a 72-hour war. 72 hours, maybe a week, and the whole thing is done. Here we are on March 25th, and on Saturday, it will be officially a month. 1 month. Strait still closed. And this announcement came out, which is Iran building up defenses of Kharg Island to protect against potential U.S. ground attack. Iran is fortifying Kharg Island with mines and air defenses against potential U.S. military seizure. Kharg Island processes roughly 90% of Iran's crude oil exports, critical to global energy markets. And then the final, April 20th, 2026, the U.S. Army is increasing the maximum enlistment age from 34 to 42 and eliminating waiver requirements for a single conviction of possession for marijuana. They want LeBron. And so, I don't know. Apparently, they do this a lot, but this is 2 steps away from a draft, and I'm not being hyperbolic. I don't really know how this draft stuff works. I'm not there yet, by the way. I'm not, like, in mode about panic mode. I'm not even... They want Aiden Holloway. Chat, who here is 42? Is anyone here 42? That just had, like, the worst announcement you've ever heard? Second time you've had Braun and Bronny in the same draft. That's fucked. It's actually not funny. Yeah, they raised it to 42. They want Rasmer. That is where we mostly are with war updates. Nothing's really happened. I mean, my general stance on this is the same that it was yesterday. Okay, this is actually very interesting. VCX. Does anyone know what this is? Because I didn't until like 12 hours ago, but I do now, and it's pretty wild what's happening. Does anyone know what VCX is? Yes or no? Good amount, decent amount. VCX is this publicly traded fund, stands for the Fundraise Innovation Fund, that has maybe, it's made up of 20% of Anthropic and 10% OpenAI or something like this. And it's a proxy to get exposure to these AI labs. And it is getting bid to the literal fucking heavens right now. It is getting bid. Everyone wants to talk about, oh, when SpaceX IPOs or when OpenAI IPOs or when Anthropic IPOs, it's over. This thing is getting bid. There's literally not going to be a fucking tomorrow. And so Trini makes this post and he says, I have a working theory that when the market gets choppy, it concentrates speculative behavior into just a few tickers and causes a kind of paradoxical squeeze in a very select memes versus broad memes. For example, back in 2022, while the index was down like 20% year to date, a scam IPO from Hong Kong trading under the ticker HKD went from 200 mil to having a larger market cap than ExxonMobil. Started out as a low float shenanigans, but became the last refuge for meme stock traders searching for anything that would still go up. Anyway, here's a chart of VCX, and it's up ungodly amounts. And so his take is basically like at the end of a cycle when we're low liquidity, you rotate further and further and further and further and further into anything that you can scam rip with a hot ball of money as high as possible. And then boom, what happens after 2023? We get rate hikes, crazy bear market, everything dies, right? And so here's what it is Anthropic mini IPO is unfolding in front of you and you missed a 15x return. The stock name VCX by fundraise went up 1,500% in 5 days. It holds 21% of Anthropic, 10% of OpenAI, 18% of Databricks, 7% made up of Anduril, and 5% of SpaceX. It has a NAV, net asset value, of $19 per share. This morning it traded at $312. That means the market is valuing a $650 million fund at $5.4 billion. Just absolutely disgusting. They're doing it because the most important companies built right now refuse to go public. Nobody can get exposure. Pre-IPO perps are like kind of a gimmick. And there's no way to get access to these companies. And so people are bidding this thing up ridiculous, right? Because they want Anthropic, they want OpenAI, they want Databricks, they want Anduril. But it's getting euphoric really for no reason. Because there's some, they're not the only company that has exposure. And their NAV premium is so ridiculous. And so Tom Lee tweets, VCX, which has a stake in OpenAI and Anthropic, trades at 25x MNAV. I think this is about right, 25x. I thought it was more like 10, but we're saying 25 here. It's changing, obviously. Orbs, which, by the way, is the company that makes the orbs for WorldCoin, is at It's 30% OpenAI and trades at 1x MNAV. 30% of this company is OpenAI and it trades at 1x MNAV. Why is it not getting the premium? I don't know. Does this mean there's an opportunity here? Does this mean there's crazy upside in orbs? It could potentially mean that. Like, do we just go down and index every company that has exposure and what MNAV they're trading at with Anthropic and OpenAI? Like, maybe. Not this, is it? Wait. It is this ACO? Oh, this is down so bad. Oh my God. Oh God, this is down so bad. But it's getting a bid. I was at the mall and they were doing a pop-up where you get your eyes scanned by the orb. How much? How much is this up? Wow, it's up a good amount though. It was up 100% at the top. Interesting. So why is it not getting the premium? I don't really know. But thing is, VCX is getting just the most ridiculous bid of all time. Look at this thing. It's just getting, look at this. Look at this fucking, we could have bought, I didn't even know this was a thing. We could have bought this. This is on Thursday last week. It's up 600% just from that alone. Yeah, this is what I want. So people are buying this fund VCX at these levels to buy Anthropic at a $4.94 trillion valuation. That's what you're paying for the Anthropic exposure inside VCX at current prices. I think Anthropic's last round was at like 400. The reported secondaries are going for 600 billion. I get that people want real exposure to these private names, but you can buy Amazon, a real business, and get 15% exposure to Anthropic. I mean, it's just fucking insane what people are paying. And so, yeah, Amazon stock gives you more Anthropic exposure per dollar than VCX does right now. And Amazon is actually a behemoth. Microsoft gives you 7x more OpenAI exposure. You already have access to these companies. Buying VCX is just paying a 16x premium because you didn't do research. And so there's kind of a couple ways to look at this. There's two sides of the coin. One side of the coin is that, oh my God, we're pumping the latest stage meme coins possible. It's over. The second is that maybe OpenAI IPOing at $1 trillion is not the top. Maybe Anthropic at 600 bill if they IPO'd there when people are paying almost 5 trillion to get exposure to it through VCX has room to run when it IPOs. Maybe SpaceX when it IPOs at $1 trillion and some change has room to run because people are paying such a ridiculous premium for these companies. And so who knows what happens here, but how this plays out, I think, is very telling to, or at least some level of signal to what's going to happen in the public markets when these private companies start going public. The second thing that happened in the AI world is Sora, the AI TikTok clone short form video from OpenAI, has shut down. And I don't know, did this come out of nowhere? Did anyone here use Sora? Yes or no? They announced, we're saying goodbye to the Sora app. To everyone who created with Sora, shared it, and built community around it, thank you. What you made with Sora mattered. It absolutely did not matter. Nothing you made with it mattered. And we know this news is disappointing. We'll share more soon, including timelines for the app and API and details on preserving your work. And so this is the announcement. Did it come out of nowhere? I don't know. I've never really used it. I actually never used it once, and I never really see people use it. But it's significant for a couple of reasons. Number one is that Disney had planned to invest $1 billion into the company and let Sora have access to AI generated videos of characters from Disney, Marvel, Pixar, and Star Wars. There were some massive investments planned going into Sora. Disney's been a terrible performing stock, but it's down. Now, announcement was yesterday. It's down like at least a couple percent, 3-4%. Maybe it was going to go down anyways. And second is that the video scene for AI is so competitive and arguably, or maybe definitively, Chinese company Cdance is just winning. So Udi tweets, everyone is wrong about why Sora is canceled. Sora 2 is last gen tech. Cdance 2 is 10x better and will be rolled out in the US in the next few days. Trained on TikTok, which has more video data than anyone else on Earth, OpenAI cannot compete. The brute reality of the situation is that the United States has basically given up on winning AI video against China. Like, China has just definitively won. Cdance is the leading model out of China, and it is just incredible. They are just winning on video, and we're kind of giving up. And so there's always this conversation on, is China just stealing American AI? And there's a lot of arguments as to why it is happening. But a counterpoint to they're not doing it is they've just won. They're winning video. They are winning video, definitively winning video. And this Sora announcement, I think, is further proof. And so a lot of people are tweeting the first domino to fall in the AI bubble. I don't exactly know if that's true. I think what is definitely true is that they realized that this product is just not where they're going to make any money. Okay. And so I did some math on this math equation. API pricing for Sora 2, $10 a second video at 720p, $30 a second at Pro, and $50 excuse me, let me start over. 10 cents a second at 720p, 30 cents a second at Pro, and 50 cents a second at full resolution. A 10-second video costs OpenAI roughly $1 to $5 in raw compute. ChatGPT Plus gives you 50 videos a month for $20. That's 40 cents a video to the user, but costing OpenAI $1 to $5 per video in compute. So a power user making 50 videos a month is generating $50 to $250 in compute costs on a $20 subscription. The Pro plan, $200 a month for 500 videos is even worse. 500 videos times $1 to $5 per video is $500 to $2,500 a month in compute for $200 in revenue. And so the reality situation is they were getting absolutely torched on compute cost. Video is intensive and it's expensive, and nobody really cared about the product. I don't really think anyone cared about the product. No one was using it. There's better models that are cheaper, and they're just, I don't know, they're dialing in. Like, they're just not gonna win on video. It's I don't know, it's kind of like a wild announcement, but I guess it wasn't crazy or the most unexpected. Let's see. This is such a good one. Sora tribute.
Are you kidding me? Drop it! Drop the gun! Give me that! Hey, let go!
There was it was pretty good for like a day. Love you guys. We're gonna have a smart stream tomorrow. We're gonna get better. We're gonna get smarter. That's the only thing. We're skill maxing. Okay, the money comes when you're fucking lit. The money comes later. We're skill maxing. Baka flocka. Much love. This was a good show today. I enjoyed it. Peace.